Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is drill a hole to cut out the rough opening for this sink. And what I need to do is, or what I've done is put a backer, put a piece of wood under here, and I've clamped it so that it has a backer. And then I'll drill a hole here to get that started. Okay, so I've drilled a hole and I've moved it over. I've reclamped the top onto this bench, which actually I need to lock the wheels so it doesn't move much. And now the thing I want to explain here is that this isn't just any wood. This is bamboo, and I've found out the hard way that bamboo can destroy especially router bits and that kind of thing. Never plunge into using a router. Never plunge into bamboo. It's very fibrous, and it'll just, well, in the case of the time I did it, it completely shattered my carbide bit, which I think was about a $75 bit. First time ever using it, so that was an expensive mistake. Now, what I'm going to do is cut it with the Saber saw, but it still has some properties of wanting to grab and manipulate, or at least it's a lot different than cutting plywood or solid wood, that kind of thing. But in general, what I've done, I've grabbed a blade here. I should show you. This blade is a down-facing blade, so the teeth are facing down. That way it's less prone to chip on the top of the cut. I don't want chipping here. I can have some, but I have to leave enough so that I'm going to remove some material after that would take any of that chipping away. And the best thing is to get it right the first time. And the other thing is to cut something like this. Now you can cut a lot faster with a Saber saw if it's oscillating the blade, moving it forward. You can cut much quicker. I've set it to 0, which means there's 0 movement this way. And as for example, I'll put it all the way up. That way it cuts like this. But now, put it down to 0. Nothing. Better chance of not getting chips that way. Gives a little more work because it doesn't cut as quick. Might be a little more burning. But again, I'm just rough cutting this, preparing it to sand it. So here I go. Oh, another thing, when you have a down-facing teeth, when it's down cutting like this, you have to give a lot of pressure down because it'll want to pop up. And you probably just need to experiment as you go, or grab a piece of scrap wood and see how that works if you do end up purchasing a blade that has the teeth facing down. For example, there, that little popping noise you hear is the this plate popping up sometimes and making a little bit more noise because all the pressure is wanting to come up because the teeth are pointing down. There you go. Okay, so I've started cutting the piece some more, and what I've done is moved the piece of wood closer to the edge so that that edge will give me more support. The farther out I go, the more this thing is going to want to do this. Not to say it's going to eliminate it completely, but it should give me more support. Okay, so here we are in the home stretch. Now if this is already on a cabinet and I'm cutting this thing out, of course you need to have some support for this thing so it doesn't fall through when you cut it. Not only fall through, but all that weight, of course, you could get a chip that goes clear into where you don't want a chip to go. So you want to support that. In this case, I'm doing it here in the shop, and it's already sitting flat, so I think it'll be just fine. Never pick a saber saw up out of the piece until it has stopped. A lot of mistake people make, and I've made in the past, is to pick it up and then boom, it ends up hitting what you want to end up seeing. If it hits this, great, but who wants to take that chance?